Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is Koech Kalia. I'm part of Kador, a journalist by training. And this particular session is the shortest of all the sessions that you've had. It is a panel discussion. Who knows what is the meaning of a panel discussion? Anyone? So a panel discussion basically is a question and answer session where the rest of us needs to just listen and I'll ask questions on the topic and they'll be able to answer those particular questions. Remember that this the question this particular evening, it's evening, right? Is why students may study so hard and still do what? Fail. Why students may do what? May what? Thank you. So we should bridge the gap between hard work and academic success. It is not always that students who work hard will pass. So that means that at some point you may study hard but fail to deliver success. And the first thing we are going to do is to identify where is the what? The problem. There are people who study so hard, but then when it comes to results, it doesn't do what? It doesn't reflect. It doesn't do what? My panelists, I'll start from the far left. We'll just say one name.
I'm Ida.
Ida? And okay, the class kindly.
Ida from 4 West.
Thank you.
Oriwo from 4 West.
Thank you.
Tracy 3 Delta.
Kiptum for Delta.
Brilliant for Third.
Blessing for South.
Kisoria for North. Faith for East. Mary for Delta.
Sharon for Central.
Christabel for Central.
Yatichi for Central.
Thank you. The panel on top of the podium is made up of 12 participants. Also, we have our deputy principal with us. We also have a few teachers and also have a team from Kador. I know you know Madam Deputy, but then let's also give her a chance to introduce herself as a panelist in this particular case.
Etna.
Thank you.
Sigiamos.
Thank you.
Bet Kador. Mr. Kieng.
Thank you.
Kirui. Jirjir.
Thank you. So welcome to this session where today why may students study so hard and fail to master content. Education is the foundation of success, and we often assume that dedicated studying will lead to mastery. However, the reality can be quite different, with students investing substantial effort only to fall short of their goals. Today, we bring together a diverse panel consisting of our student teachers and a team of educators to explore the multifaceted reasons behind these phenomena. Through their insights and experiences and expertise, we aim to shed on the light faced by the student, examined by students, teachers, and ultimately uncover the effective strategies to help students overcome the obstacles and achieve true content mastery. During this session, the people listening to the panel will be expected to be silent while the panel contributes. No jeering nor cheering is allowed during this particular session. The first question goes to Mr. Kieng, who comes from Kador, and the question is, how true is this? Can you kindly help us to identify the problem?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Kalia, and welcome viewers. My name is Kieng Wilfred, the regional consultant Kador. For so many years, we've had learners and schools experiencing reading culture problems. The element in the houses of academics is reading culture, whereby so many schools and so many students have a challenge in reading to master content. I must confess that there are so many students who work very hard. Honestly work hard, they are disciplined, They are hardworking students who consult. Sometimes they go home and set goals with their parents. Sometimes they cry literally and promising to go back to school and make a difference. Set goals, personal goals, group goals. They come to school and by the end of the term, they have not seen any change. That means their hard work or efforts they are putting in academic excellence is not directly proportional to what they are receiving, that is in terms of results. It is the same thing to schools because the results we are receiving from students affect the schools. That is why we see that 80% of schools do 80% to achieve 20%, while 20% of the schools do 20% to achieve 80%. And that is the reason why we are here, to find out why is it that majority of students study so hard, yet they fail to master content. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for identifying the problem. Let's now go to Madam Edna. And for that, the first question to you, of course, is how true is this? One, do you feel that based on the entry behavior of these particular students, there are those who should be scoring higher based on the amount of time and effort that teachers and even themselves put, but are not able to achieve that?
It is true.
It is true. How true is it? Maybe you can give us an explanation of the situation that we have currently.
It's true because most of the students, they come with different entry points or entry marks, but it depends on how they spend their time. A good number of them with high marks, they come with their time. Those ones with lower marks, they use every minute which they are in school, and they will achieve.
And I'll just give Mwalimu, kindly, let's also have it from you. Based on your experience within the school, we are still identifying the problem. Do you feel that there are students who study so hard and fail to master content at the end of the rope?
Yes, it is true.
Okay, thank you so much. And again, or rather this time starting from the far right, I would want you to give us your personal experience, of course, as a student, and also from seeing what your fellow students do. Do you believe that at times you put in so much effort, then at the end of it all, when it comes to exams, you see blackout, quote unquote?
Yes, I believe.
You believe so? How true is it? Have you had a personal experience in some of the subjects?
It is true because some students may be using wrong methods of reading, or rather unsuitable methods. So they think that they have gotten the content, but when they get to the exam room, they find out that they have no content. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And kindly just do explain from a personal experience if you have ever found yourself in a situation where you studied so hard, then at the end of it all you felt like it didn't translate into mastery of language. Or rather, not language, but rather mastery of content.
Yes, at times maybe when studying you get some distractions or you lose the focus. At the end you find out that at the end when maybe you do an exam you find out that you've not performed as expected. So maybe it's due to the lack of focus during the study. Yeah, leading to low performance. And
okay, thank you. Maybe we also give the person next to you. And the question to you will be a little bit twisted. Have you ever entered an exam room expecting to have content from a particular topic? Maybe you prepared for it the night prior to, but then you realize that you actually know even how you studied, the topic and everything, but failed to answer the question?
Yes.
Why do you think that happened?
This is because I had used revision books that had kind of twisted questions.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Kador, Mr. Kieng from Kador. Then we'll come to you, Bet. From your experience in schools, what strategies or interventions have been found to be effective in supporting students who are struggling to achieve mastery?
Yeah, thank you so much. I must begin by saying that personally, I believe that every student wishes to succeed. in every school. There is no student who wishes to fail. The first reason, of course, why they come to school is because they want to succeed. And that is the reason why they are in school. Unfortunately, the lack of appropriate methods of study and learning styles, most of them may not achieve their goals. You realize that we are all different. We are not the same. No two students are the same. We are different. And we may need to employ different methods for us to, and for the students to master the content. Now, schools that or other students who understand methods, for example, now what we are using, what we just did today, the Socratic methods of study, will definitely succeed because they understand that there's a process you follow for you to master content. I must say that success in academics is not a question of just hard working. It's more of a skill than just working hard. That is why we say that the old traditional advice we give to students that you just study and achieve academic excellence is not true. It's not working anymore because we have so many students who are doing the same but they are not making any difference. So there are so many methods that can be used by a student to succeed. One that is very clear is the one that we've seen today, the Socratic approach, the Pareto principle, and so many others which will come very clear as we continue with this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next to him is Bet. Bet, the question that comes to you is just next to what I asked Mr. Kieng. And it is about mastery. In your own understanding, what is mastery of content as far as a student and a teacher are concerned?
Thank you very much, MC Kalia, for that question. Now, when we talk about mastery of content, we only mean one thing, that you read to understand. It is all about understanding what you're reading. In this case, we may confuse cramming and understanding. And that is why we are coming up with method that will help you to understand. When you understand, you become a master of that particular topic that you're reading. So mastery of content is not magic. It is just a word that is used for you to really understand that when you read, don't just read to cram for the exams. You read to understand, because they say education is that piece of information that remains with you long after you leave the school. So more often when you go around to universities, some of the students, even this that we have here, the Form 4s, when they go to holidays and they go for half-term, they have mobile phones. Some of them, they see even in the social media, people asking themselves, by the way, vectors ilikusaidia nini? Those kind of things. It means that they never got the purpose, the idea of that particular topic. So we are here to emphasize that mastery of content is all about reading to understand. When you don't understand, don't read something else. Thank you.
Okay, reading to understand for that matter. Now let's, I can see there's a point that Mr. King would...
Just to add on what Mr. Bed is saying, because I may forget later, understanding. And I would rather just seek permission from the moderator to ask one student to just come forward, just those who are here. Just any one of you.
Yeah, let's have you.
Just have you. With your chair. With your chair, please. With your chair. With your chair. And just put your chair just at the center of the stage and stand behind the chair. And can you be creative and stand under the chair? Be creative and stand under the chair. Just be creative and stand under the chair. Make sure you are standing under the chair. Yes, good. That is good. That is great. What is your name? Sharon is standing under the chair. Is it true? She is standing under the chair. Understand. Understanding. She is understanding the chair. That is what it is. Now, just keep standing under the chair. She's understanding the chair. When you understand something, you master it. You take control of it. Just like the way she's understanding. She's understanding. She has understood the chair. She has understood the chair. And the chair is above her. She's in control of it. That is the meaning of understand. It is to have control of something that you can produce content orally and even do writing. And what I say is this, just down. And now, this is what it is. I usually define examination as a test that finds out whether you succeeded in moving information from the textbook to your head and back to paper. Textbook to head and then back to paper. That means you have understood what is said. And you can now communicate with the author. You can speak it. You can change the way it's presented and customize to your own way of doing things. Thank you so much.
At that particular juncture, I'll allow all of us to clap for her and also the presenters. Within the first 15 minutes, we've been able to identify the problem, and everyone agrees that the problem is there. Is that true? Now we are going towards the solution, and the first question, or rather, the first question in this particular session, because this is a session within a session, goes to the second presenter to my right. Of course, I didn't capture your name quite well, but I know all of them know you. And the question is, what motivates you to study and excel academically? How do you approach your studying and learning process? What is your motivation when you're studying?
Okay, thank you. What motivates me mostly when I'm studying is my goals. When you have big goals and you know that you have to achieve them because you have to make yourself proud, and those who care, you usually do the best so that you can master the content, understand it well.
So your motivation is the goals that you have. Okay, thank you. Of course, I know that the panel down there are noting what you're saying. What is your motivation when you're studying?
My goals.
Your goals. Okay. I'll start with Mwalimu. Are you satisfied with their answer in terms of their goals being their driving, or rather their motivation when they are studying?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go to Madam Edna. And of course, I would expect a little explanation. Your students have said that what motivates them to study is the goals they have. Is it in life now, or is it in exams? Where is the motivation? How do you cap your motivation? Is it long term? Is it short term? Maybe you can explain.
Long term.
Long term. So what you want to be in future. Okay, thank you. Madam, are you satisfied with that? And of course, you can still give us an explanation.
I think I'm satisfied, especially for those girls who are focused, who have set their goals. The students have known the career, that's a push to them, because they know in the career they need to pass in this and this and this. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a force which is driving them to study hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. We can come back to Mr. Bates there. Mr. Bates, of course, we're talking about here goals being a motivation. The consequence of studying for so long, studying continuously, aiming at a certain goal, but at the end of it all, it looks like it is a shifting target. What are the consequences of a student continuously failing to master content?
Thank you very much for that question. As you can see, we have one particular thing that is driving the student. That is their goal. And sometimes along the way, that goal seems to and they may end up not really achieving that particular goal. There are certain factors that really contribute to us students really missing out on that particular goal. One of these factors, as students mentioned, and that is what we concentrate on as Kador, is the poor study methods. Students believe that working hard and reading for long hours will contribute largely to his or her goal, which is not true. The truth of this situation is that when you have the right study skills, you may not require a whole day to master content. Some of these study methods that we are providing are meant to make your goal more clear. it is like using binoculars to bring the goal more closer and more clear, so that you understand exactly what are some of the steps that you need to take. Another thing that distract the students from achieving that particular goal for long run is negative attitude that they have. And when we talk about negative attitudes, we are not talking about negative attitudes towards only the subject. We are talking about negative attitudes to begin with, towards the teacher as a person, towards the school that you are studying in, and to the extent negative attitude towards even yourself. Those are the things that distract you from achieving your goal. Remember, your goal should be very clear, and you should be having people to support you. Another thing that I think should be noted is that lack of mentors, and that is why we are here. When you have a goal, you need people who will constantly remind you that this is your vision and you need to work hard for this. And they show you how to work hard and how to work smart. So when those things are lacking, that vision we may not realize, because other factors away from that are the environments and the places that we come from, and of course the background that we come from. But all those things can be overcome when we have the right study method and the right mentors. Thank you.
Okay, now to you, Mr. Kieng. And of course, as you answer the question about the consequences of long-term failure to master content, also attach it to this. How do we address varying learning styles and abilities within a classroom to make sure that every student manages to get an opportunity to master content? Of course, we all have varying capabilities, yet we are exposed to the same content, same amount of time, maybe the same teaching style from a particular individual. So how can teachers, in this case, what methods can they employ to make sure that students get enough opportunity to master content?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kalia. The first consequence to students who may be not studying to master content, of course, is failure in examination. Of course, if you don't master content, right from Form 1, for example, you move to Form 3, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, you are not mastering the content. You may not succeed in national examinations. And the main reason why we are in school is to master content, because we are given an exam at the end of the year so that we can know whether you master the content. The reason why we give exams is to find out whether the student mastered the content. That is the only reason for examination. Why do we find out whether you mastered content? Because we want to know whether you will be a good engineer when you graduate. Why would we give students in the university exam before they graduate? Because we want to know whether they will become good engineers with content, good lawyers with content, pilots, and even teachers. So that means the other consequence or challenge is failure, or that person who has gone through school and has no content will not deliver when given an opportunity to become a doctor, for example. We've heard of the cases where a doctor, instead of operating the patient in the head, operates in the stomach. We've had people who are, even killing patients because they did not do their research. Research begins from high school. That desire, that culture of reading, that culture of researching begins from high school. When students go to the university having the love to read books, having that desire to master, to research. Just imagine a lawyer who has no content, who has no desire to even research. He will lose all the cases in the court because he cannot go an extra mile to find a solution. Imagine a teacher who has no love of books, love to research. He will only be teaching the things, the content that he had in high school. He cannot go further to even research. Now, to your second question is about how can we deal with the varying learner types. I call it learner types. Let me quote some maxim in Latin that states that quidquid accipidum ad modum recipientis recipiatur. Quidquid accipidum ad modum recipientis recipiatur. That is to say, whatever is received according to the mode of the receiver. It is about the receiver here. Content mastery, content retention. When a teacher speaks in class, expects learners to listen. What is very, very important is not actually, in that process, is not the teacher speaking, it's more of the learner listening. And the reception, the receiver, the mind of the student. That is why it's important for us as teachers and mentors to find out what type of learners exist in our classroom. As we say, there are no magic that take place in an exam room. Magic take place in a classroom. That is where magic takes place. Interaction between the teacher and the learner. As a teacher, how many learner types do I have? Just to mention, there are audio learners, visual learners, tactile learners, analytic learners, and global learners. All these types of learners understand things differently. For example, audio learners understand more of audio information. When the teacher speaks, they get it right. The visual learner understands when the teacher writes and when they read books, and then when they see graphs, they see charts, they understand more. The analytic learner, the tactile learner, understands more when they touch. That student can go further to participate in programs or engage in activities that can help them master even more content. So what I would say is, it is more of a skill, it is more of engagement between learner and teacher and even mentors, so that we can be able to support our learners do well. There is no student who is foolish. There is no one who is stupid. Everyone has something to contribute. And the only thing is to understand the diversity, the different learners in our classes.
Thank you so much. I think that is quite clear. Let's clap for Mr. Kieng. Thank you. And as we move to the tail part of this conversation, I'll give the students a chance. Then I'll come back to Mwalimu on the far left. And then I'll also take maybe 5 questions from the audiences. Please just raise up your hand, but then do not use your mouth, raise up the hands, because this is being recorded. Kindly just make sure, just raise up your hand, but until you're given the mic, don't speak. And I'll start with the students here. Of course, you've noticed that there is difference in grades in terms of, or rather from subject to subject. What do you think causes this? And in connection to that, what have you done, or what do you think should be done by you, the student, or the teacher, or any other person to help you make sure that you balance your grades across subjects? I'll give the next student there a chance to talk about that.
You find some subjects, they have high grades, while other subjects has low grades. But it's according to our attitude, because we can make it. Once you make in other subject you get A, you are able to get other subjects A. So it determines our attitude, how we read that subject and how we prepare for that subject, and according to our timetable, how many times do we read that subject. So we have to balance. Not we are reading this subject that we are passing, we read more and more. We have to balance our subjects so that we can arrange our grades in the same lines, so that you have some other subject has more grades while other subjects has low grades.
Okay, next student. And the question for you will be a little bit different. Which is your favorite subject, and why do you think you passed that particular subject?
Okay, my favorite subject is theory, because it's what we learned. It's what I learned from since when I was young. Reading of the Bible. Theory most likely goes with reading of the Bible. It's what I've done since I was young. So I don't find it difficult answering questions there. It's just what is within you, and most application question, it's what we do.
Okay, thank you. You'd have a second question, which is a subject that maybe, I wouldn't use the word poorly, but that subject that you feel maybe you still need to work on. The lowest that you achieved in that subject. Just don't give us the grade, but just tell us, this is where I think I need to put more effort.
Physics.
Physics? Why do you think you're not doing so well in physics?
Attitude.
Okay, thank you. That was quite short. Okay, now starting also from you, I'll ask the question, which is your favorite subject and why do you think you are doing so well in that particular subject?
My favorite subject is Kiswahili. And the reason why I do so well in Kiswahili is because I love Kiswahili and I love speaking in Kiswahili. And that's driving motivation.
Labda tukupatie muda uzungumze kwa lugha unayoipenda sasa. Anyway. Okay, you done? Okay, that's why, because you're speaking in English. But then if it was Swahili, the statement would have been longer. Let's clap for her. Anyway, let's go to the next student.
My favorite subject is chemistry because it is easily understood.
It is easily understood. I can see the chemistry teacher clapping. Anyway, okay, let's move to the next student.
My favorite subject is German. German consists of 3 areas, that is the grammar part and the oral. And in the oral area, it is mostly done through speaking and interacting with different people. And German is an interesting subject because it has many careers. It's just amazing.
Okay, thank you so much. For you, which is your favorite subject? But please don't tell us why you like it. Just tell us your favorite subject.
CRE.
CRE. I would ask you to give us, are you in Form 4, right? Form 4, right? Can you give us the subjects, not subjects, but rather the topics for CRE in Form 3? Form 3. Are you in a position to? Okay, let's go.
Unity of believers, gift of the Holy Spirit, Jeremiah, Nehemiah, Amos, and ethics.
Okay, thank you so much. That answers the question. Of course, there is a reason we are doing that. Now you'll help us carry the mic to the other side. I'll charge you with that. So let's go to the other students. Kindly just raise up your hand. I'll be able to see you, and you'd also be able to answer the question. So you can step off the stage kindly and give your fellow students the mic. So just raise up your hand if you are ready to answer the question kindly. The question is, what is your favorite subject and why do you like it? So let's start with the first. Kindly just let's start with the first hand there. The one in a sweater. Kindly stand up when answering the question.
My favorite subject is chemistry.
Why do you love chemistry?
Because of my career in future.
Are you in your 4th form?
Form 4.
Can you give us the topics in Form 2 for chemistry in order? Are you in a position to?
Periodic table.
Let's listen kindly. Neighbor.
Periodic table, chemical families, structure and bonding, salts, effects of electric currents on substances, carbon and its compounds.
Thank you so much for that. Let's go to the next one. Let's give it to her. Which is your favorite subject and why do you think you like it?
Biology.
Biology, How many topics do you have in biology in Form 1?
4.
Thank you. Just stop it there. Now the question changes. Do you think attitude affects how much you achieve in a particular subject? Let's raise up our hands, the next person, and explain. Just behind her, kindly, we are going. Behind her, there is a sweater I can see. Thank you.
What I can say is that attitude can affect. This is because if one have a positive attitude towards a subject, we will find how spending most of the time reading that subject.
Thank you. One more before we go. Attitude. Let's speak about attitude. Come to this way.
Okay, what I can say is that attitude can affect your subject because when somebody has a negative attitudes, he can ignore that subject and it leads to failure.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Mwalimu, your student seems to understand the issue about attitude. Yet, at the same time, they still have preference when it comes to subjects. One thing that I would want you to note is that when somebody loves the subject, even if you ask them what topics are in that particular subject, they may find they understand it. The question I'll just ask you is, how do we correct the issue of attitude? And maybe what, in your own understanding as a teacher, what causes preferences and attitude?
Okay. It is true that attitude among students affect their performance. You find maybe this attitude can be developed maybe by the goals of the students. As they have said, they want to be some maybe a teacher in future or a doctor, so they will have to do more on those subjects which are pertaining to those goals. Maybe to help them so that they understand more about the attitude and have same attitude in those other subjects. Maybe they should be given the cluster in every career they require to pursue in future, because in case they put more effort in a chemistry, for instance, the way they have said, that chemistry, you don't do that chemistry alone without other subjects. So maybe they need to be encouraged more so that they understand the relationship between one subject and the other. That one also can be related to maybe the discipline of the students. Maybe in terms of the teacher-student relationship, maybe we have some discipline among us, the teachers. They develop bad attitudes towards that teacher, then they end up developing bad attitudes towards the subject again. So maybe they need to build teacher-student relationship so that they have that positive attitudes towards the subject being built up. Otherwise, all the subjects should be important, or they are important in the career of the student. They shouldn't have to invest more in one subject as compared to the other one. Unlike in production economics, where we have a law to obey, the law of equidistant equimarginal production, where you allocate more resources based on the output of those production. So you should have same resources being allocated to every subject. If it is time, you allocate the same times to those other subjects as other subjects. So that is all what I can say.
Thank you. And before Mr. Kieng, let's just have Madam Edna giving our closing remarks. Of course, Madam Edna, you've heard what your students have said, you've heard what the panelists have said, and before they end, of course, you may have a few promises to give to your students. You may have a few remarks to make. Thank you.
Thank you so much. About the attitude to the girls, for real, when a girl develops a negative attitude, there will be small performance. So what Mwalimu has said about the career, I think the girls needs to know the cluster of every career you want, because I'm sure every girl in this room know what she wants to be in future. So you have to really get to know if it is a course related with sciences, you must balance all those resources Mwalimu is saying, time management, allocate equal time to every subject. Get to know that if you perform this higher, maybe 100% in chemistry, and have maybe 21% in maths, you are not heading anywhere. So it's good to balance. Otherwise, girls, build a positive attitude towards every subject, and if anything, allocate equal time to every subject. Get motivated. Ask those ones who are doing well, like there are some people doing well in CRE, others are doing well in chemistry, biology. Be academic friends. Tell them how best are you using, what are you doing which I'm not doing, so that you are best in CRE, you are best in chemistry. At the end of the day, you have balanced all your 8 subjects to take you somewhere apart from getting an A. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's now go to Mr. Bet. Your closing remarks.
Thank you very much. My closing remarks, I think I just want to add a few things on attitude. There are certain factors that I want to add apart from what Mwalimu has talked about, the goals. And one of the other factors that contribute to that particular negative attitude is the culture. The culture in school that students inherit may contribute to that negative attitude. There are certain places that we go and teachers know very well because they have been going to different schools when they get transfer. You get that school, they have a culture where they talk of chemistry ni ngumu, math ni ngumu, which other one yenye nilipata, geography, ukiona rocks wachana nazo mwezi toboa. Those are the things. So you inherit that culture and you grow up with it. So that attitude is developed immediately as soon as you enter that particular gate. So another thing is that apart from goal, there are those who are very sure of what they want to be in life, and they try to balance their subjects. But again, on the flip of the other side is that we have students, and we have majority of them in this pool, who are ignorant of what they want to be. When you're ignorant of what you want to be, there immediately what kicks in is the negative attitude towards anything, because you don't see the importance of it. So it is okay to be ignorant, but it is not okay to remain ignorant. Is that okay? So those are the things. So finally, I just want to really say that Kador is committed in changing the culture. That culture that you always know in this particular school is about to change. The way we do things are about to change. So tomorrow when the Form 4s are exiting, the Form 3 will take the mantle with the same spirit. And the Form 1s will be entering this particular school, will enter and see a difference in how you operate. And that will always change their attitude towards all the subject. So that is my closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bet. And Mr. Kieng, as you answer this question, you are on record saying that we still need people in this country who have mastery of content. Kindly start with that before giving us your closing remarks.
Yeah, the question of we still need people who have mastered content in this country is because of the belief or the attitude that has developed in some people when we introduced the CBC. And some people thought it's time to relax and just do what you want. We still need people who have mastered content because we still need good engineers. We still need doctors who can do research. Like the question of coronavirus, it was a time for us to really reflect. Do we have good doctors in this country who can think and give solution to the challenges that we face every day? Well, that was the reason. As I give my closing remarks, I just want to say there is something that is very important that everyone needs to understand. Whether you are a student, a teacher, or anyone, the be, do, have process of success. Be, do, have. That is what we need to know. For you to have anything, good results, good life, whatever wealth or anything you want in life, for you to have, you must do first. You must do something. And for you to do something, you must become so that you do it. And then when you do it, you have. And so the first thing is change your mindset. It's change of your thinking. We say when you change your thinking, you change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs, you change your attitude. When you change your attitude, you change your behavior. When you change your behavior, you change your performance. When you change your performance, you change your results. And when you change your results, you change your life. And so this question of attitude, the lack of desire to study, the indiscipline issues that make students to fail, the whole problem will stop becoming a problem when we change our mindset, when we change the way we do things. The way we do things, the way we participate in programs, the way we listen. And I say that there is something called the 3D formula. And the 3D formula is like The first D is decide what you want in life. The second D is to determine the price you're going to pay. And the third D is do it. So decision making is the mother of all achievement. Brian Tracy says it takes a student 16 seconds only to decide, this word decide, to become an A student or become a D student. So it's all about decision making. If a student sits down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even 1 hour to make decisions, serious decisions about what they want to become, and we say about what you want to become in life, not about what you want to become in school, they will make a difference. So I believe that when we begin to decide, we really sit down and decide, we will do very well. Lastly, there is a rule that that is in the book, in the commandments of, there is a book that is talking about the rules of the firefighters. When we read that book, there is a rule number 14 for the firefighters. And the firefighters say, understand what you are doing in the firefighting. Understand why you are doing what you are doing in the firefighting. So if a student also takes that and understand why you are doing what you are doing in a school, you will succeed. So my last message to students and to every one of us is to sit down, make serious decisions about what we want, because when we know what we want, we will even get good grades. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we've come to the conclusion of this particular session. And as we conclude, I want you to turn to your neighbor, look at them, and tell them, anyone, and everyone can succeed. Even you. Tell them again.